From the shadows of ancient history, an enigmatic Egyptian figure emerges, shrouded in secrets and whispers echoed in the Bible. A high-ranking official during the reign of a powerful queen, his meteoric rise to prominence raises baffling questions. Uncover the captivating story of the connection between an elusive Egyptian and a major figure from the Bible. Explore this mesmerizing historical mystery with us, leaving us to ponder, was he the bridge between Egypt and Israel? Do not forget to subscribe to our channel to get updates on archaeological discoveries that show the Bible is true. In the annals of ancient Egypt, Senmut stands out as a fascinating figure. His life story is a testament to the remarkable journeys that could be undertaken even by individuals of humble origins in the splendor of ancient Egypt. While Senmut is often associated with his role as the chief steward and architect during Queen Hatshepsut's reign, his beginnings were far from the grandeur of the royal court. Born into a modest family in the village of Armant in Upper Egypt, Senmut's early life was worlds apart from the opulence of the Egyptian elite. His parents, simple laborers, likely expected their son to follow in their footsteps and continue the family tradition of manual labor. Yet, Senmut's destiny held a different course, one that would see him rise to unprecedented heights. Senmut's ascent to prominence was a testament to his intelligence, ambition, and relentless dedication. It is believed that he displayed exceptional talent at a young age. He received an education equal to the highest echelons of Egypt's society, an opportunity rarely afforded to those of humble origins in ancient Egypt. His educational journey opened doors to a world of knowledge and culture that was a stark contrast to the life he was born into. Senmut immersed himself in the teachings of the time, mastering various disciplines such as mathematics, architecture, and astronomy. His keen intellect and relentless pursuit of excellence marked him as a prodigy. In ways not known from Egyptian history, he caught the attention of the powerful elite of Thebes, the capital of ancient Egypt. It was here that he began his ascent through the ranks, being entrusted with ever more significant responsibilities. Senmut's association with Queen Hatshepsut, one of the most iconic figures in ancient Egyptian history, was pivotal in his life. He became her chief steward and architect, and in statues is shown as part of her family. There is no other example from Egyptian history of a commoner rising to such heights. How this could happen is a mystery discussed by many Egyptologists. In the shadow of the Great Pyramids and the majestic temples that still awe us today, Senmut's story reminds us that Egypt's ancient history was shaped not only by its rulers but also by the extraordinary individuals who defied societal expectations, rising from the obscurity of their humble origins to leave an indelible mark on the sands of time. Fascinatingly, Senmut's life coincided with the Israelites' sojourn in Egypt as described in biblical accounts. Senmut served in the court of Queen Hatshepsut, contributing to the construction of grand temples and monuments during the 15th century BC. It's during this period that the Israelites are believed to have been living in Egypt, as the timeline aligns with their enslavement and eventual exodus. The date of the exodus, as calculated from biblical references, is a topic of scholarly debate. However, the theory that takes the biblical account most seriously firmly places this monumental event in history at 1446 BC, during the 5th year of the reign of Amenhotep II. This conclusion is drawn from a biblical reference that ties the Exodus to the construction of Solomon's Temple in Jerusalem. 1 Kings 6:1 in the Old Testament states that 480 years had passed since the Exodus when Solomon began to build the Temple in Jerusalem, an event securely dated to 966 BC. By simple arithmetic, this yields 1446 BC as the date of the Exodus. If this interpretation is indeed accurate, it places Moses' birth around 1526 BC. It is a remarkable thought that Moses might have been discovered by Hatshepsut, the daughter of Pharaoh Thutmose I. She had the title the king's daughter as mentioned in Exodus, and raised Moses as her own. While historical records and biblical narratives often intersect and sometimes diverge, this dating provides us with a compelling perspective on the timing of Moses and the Exodus within the rich tapestry of ancient history. It invites us to envision the extraordinary life of Moses against the backdrop of ancient Egypt, adding depth and context to this pivotal moment in human history. So with Senmut active in Hatshepsut's court in the time before the Exodus, can we find a link between him and the Bible? Intriguingly, there are several indications this link exists in an astounding way. The relationship between Senmut and Hatshepsut, one of the most intriguing chapters in ancient Egyptian history, was marked by a deep bond that extended far beyond their official roles. Senmut lived under the gracious and benevolent eye of Hatshepsut, with some accounts even suggesting a romantic connection, despite their nearly 10-year age difference. Hatshepsut bestowed upon Senmut nearly 100 titles, a testament to his multifaceted role in her court. These titles included hereditary crown prince of Egypt, count, sole companion, master of all people, chief of the whole land, royal vizier, and chief royal architect. Perhaps the most significant title was his name Senmut, which means mother's brother. This title elevated Senmut to the status of equal with his pharaonic parent. Senmut's various inscriptions and monuments reveal the extent of his influence and close relationship with Hatshepsut. He was not only a chief steward but also the keeper of the palace and the keeper of the heart of the king. He ensured the contentment of the lady of both lands and made all things come to pass for the spirit of her majesty. In addition to his official roles, Senmut's administrative and religious titles showcased his versatility. He was the overseer of granaries, storehouses, and gardens of Amun, as well as the chief of the peasant serfs of Amun. His religious titles included being called prophet, prophet of Amun, and the chief of the prophets of Montu. Senmut's influence reached its zenith when he oversaw the construction of the grand mortuary temple of Hatshepsut at Deir el-Bahri, a masterpiece of ancient Egyptian architecture still standing today. There are more than 25 monuments that Senmut built for himself, a staggering amount for a man born as a commoner in Egypt. But most strikingly are several statues that show him with Princess Nefrur in his lap. It is like a family picture, showing how near he is to the throne. However, the largest mystery surrounding Senmut lies in his abrupt disappearance from the historical records around 1486 BC. Despite his numerous monuments and inscriptions, there is no clear account of what happened to him. His empty, unused tombs stand as silent witnesses to the enigma of Senmut's vanishing act, leaving us to wonder about the final chapter in the life of this extraordinary figure in ancient Egyptian history. The tantalizing mystery of Senmut's sudden disappearance from the annals of ancient Egypt invites a myriad of speculations and theories. But there is one that answers all questions. Senmut in all likelihood was Moses, the iconic biblical figure. This theory gains traction when we consider several intriguing factors that align with the known narrative of Moses. First and foremost, Moses, as depicted in the biblical account, was born into humble origins, a stark contrast to the grandeur of Egyptian royalty. Senmut's simple birthplace and upbringing resonate with this humble beginning, making it plausible that he could have been Moses, the Israelite infant found floating in a basket on the Nile's waters. The connection between Senmut and Queen Hatshepsut, often characterized as more than a professional relationship, hints at a deeper bond. In the biblical story, Moses was raised as the son of Pharaoh's daughter, a role consistent with Senmut's close association with Hatshepsut. This connection could have allowed him to navigate the complex political landscape of ancient Egypt, helping him to assume many important responsibilities in Egyptian society. The age issue also lines up perfectly with this theory. Moses was born in 1526 BC, coinciding with Senmut's era. The Bible says that Moses fled Egypt when he was 40 years of age, so in 1486 BC. This is exactly the year after which nothing more is known about Senmut. He disappears, and the magnificent tomb built for him would never be used. And nothing in the Egyptian annals afterwards refers to Senmut anymore. It is like there is a very good reason not to be remembered of this man. Furthermore, it's worth noting that Senmut's memory suffered defacement in later years, an intriguing detail that might suggest an attempt to erase his identity, likely due to the sensitive nature of his transformation from an Egyptian official to the leader of the Israelites. Identifying Moses with Senmut opens up an intriguing perspective on the life of the biblical prophet and lawgiver, Moses. This identification aligns with the biblical account in Acts 7:22, which describes Moses as instructed in all the wisdom of the Egyptians and mighty in words and deeds. By realizing Moses was probably known earlier as Senmut in Egypt, we gain access to additional information about him. First of all, if Senmut is Moses, this means there are statues of Moses around. They show a young man with full cheeks and a smooth round face, wide open eyes with long lashes, large ears, and a small, straight, full mouth. Second, if Senmut indeed is Moses, we have words written by Moses before he wrote Genesis through Deuteronomy. He wrote about himself on his unused tomb that he was keeper of the heart of the king, making content the lady of both lands, making all things come to pass for the spirit of her majesty. After the dramatized sea changes his life, Moses started serving another, higher king and being led by another spirit. Third, if Senmut indeed is Moses, we know Moses had experience in international travel before fleeing Egypt and later leading the people of Israel in the Exodus into the desert. Egyptian records show he traveled with Pharaoh Hatshepsut to the land of Punt, which is believed to be modern-day northern Somalia. Fourth, if Senmut indeed is Moses as we believe he likely is, there are remains of buildings he was an architect for. For example, there is a large temple designed by him for Hatshepsut. We are not sure whether he felt free to build a temple to Egyptian gods without taking part in their worship himself, or that he only became exclusively committed to the God of Israel later in life. Maybe his full faith in the God of Israel only came shortly before he fled Egypt, or even only came to full fruition when God called him in the desert as an 80-year-old. Is Senmut Moses? We cannot be entirely sure, but it seems very likely. And that sheds a totally new light of the early life of the man who would lead Israel out of Egypt.